welcome to today's podcast. We are excited that you joined us today. As always, hit the subscribe button if this is your first time and the bell icon notification so that you're always notified whenever we go live or whenever we post new content. And if you're a regular, remember to share this with your friends and loved ones and always invite people to, join our platform. We're excited about today's topic. It's one of the most important ones that we've discussed so far. Just to give you a small background, October was the month of mental health awareness. And I know you've come across a lot of articles, a lot of discussions, and it's very vital that we actually continue this conversation because mental health awareness is not a one-time thing. And so today, that's what exactly we're going to be talking about. And I have a very important and great guest. I recently introduced to him. He's a lawyer by profession, but also passionate about mental health. He's actually pursuing a master's degree in the same. And I just said, why not? Let me just host him and get to hear what he has to say, his input about this. And also, before I forget, we've put a link in this video, or if you're listening to us from Anchor, it's a short film we did about mental health awareness and its effects. Please get to watch it. It's just 3 minutes. But I believe it is going to speak a lot. It's going to encourage a lot of people. So without further ado, let me welcome today's guest, Mr. Francis. Karibu sana.
Thank you so much, Justin. It's really a pleasure and an honor even to be on this platform.
Yes.
As you've rightfully said to our viewers, I'm an advocate by profession, but most importantly, I'm also studying to become a mental health expert. I'm currently undertaking a master's course in counseling psychology.
Yes.
And the reason why I am so passionate about mental health is because for the best part of my life, I've seen that mental health is one of the areas of health that few people actually understand, and few people even have the knowledge to understand. And yet it's one of the most important parts, because if you look at the human nature, we are only different from animals only on account of the way we think and our minds.
That's true.
That is what makes us different. So that's why I took a step to actually get to know this, and so far so good. I think that knowledge will be very important even to other people and including our viewers. Yes. Thank you.
Actually, so Karibu sana. I know you've said a very important point, that what distinguishes us from other, actually of all of God's creation is the fact that human beings have a mental capacity, right? We can think, we can create, we can process. Not that animals can't think, they can, but we can actually even think on behalf of other people. We can actually think on behalf of someone. That's why somebody comes to you and says, please advise me on this. What they're basically saying is, please help me think, think on my behalf. So I'm so excited, man, that you're here. We want to encourage our viewers. If you have a question, because we're not going to discuss everything today. We've agreed with Francis, we'll do this in 2 parts.
Yes.
So today we're just doing the surface, and then next episode we'll go deeper. But I just want to hear from you, Francis. I don't know what your experience is. Have you encountered, challenges with mental health yourself as an individual, or people directly or indirectly connected to you? And how has that impacted you and given you that passion while you're pursuing the MA in counseling?
Thank you so much. Let me say this is a bit. There's a bit about my personal life.
Yeah.
Yes, personally, I've encountered mental challenges, including depression.
Yeah.
I've gone through depression, and there has also been the bit where I've lost friends through suicide, and all these things I've seen people get injured, get neglected, others even go to jail. And this is just something that now I have a better understanding of, rather than before when I didn't know about mental health.
Yes.
A brief a brief description of what I'm talking about is,
Yeah.
you see, the mild part of the depression was at a time in my life when I was really going through a lot. There were certain goals that I was aspiring to achieve, part of which included my academia in law.
Yeah.
And it really took a toll on me to a point where even after now, going through some motions of counseling, I that's when I really now got to open up and get help. Because I know that's one of the most important aspects of mental health, and just that self-awareness. Yes.
So you've encountered it yourself. So one of the effects of maybe, let me say, I don't want to call it poor mental health, but one of the things that affects our mental health, the result is depression, right? And then now depression leads to...
Yes. In fact, to now other consequences such as suicide, self-harm, alienation from people, loved ones, decline in work performance, school performance. And these are just some of the negatives.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, however, the worst that comes is now the suicide.
Yes.
And even you can even harm others other than yourself. So there are those negative consequences of not dealing with the aspects of depression. But depression is just one of the elements of mental health and the effects. Others could include feeding and eating disorders, which are really not common in Kenya, but in other parts of the world there are. Others include anxiety disorders. Everybody has a point in time where they face some form of anxiety. Okay. Anxiety would be what we would call like butterflies in the stomach.
Yes.
Commonly referred to when you are having like. Then there is the more common substance abuse disorders. So where you find somebody is an alcoholic, for instance, although we don't like the labeling because labeling stigmatizes. So alcohol dependent, maybe bang dependent, because people there. That's one of the most commonly abused drugs, especially amongst us youth, despite being illegal to do so. There is also psychotic disorders. As you know, there is a mental health facility, the biggest being Mathare National Hospital, which actually deals with some of these problems. So some of the psychotic disorders would include schizophrenia, which is what we call the brink of madness. So where you see somebody is even playing with things that you wouldn't do. They're crazy, they're shouting all over, but it occurs rarely and is often, genetic and so many other aspects.
Yeah.
There are also other things such as personality disorders.
Yes.
So, and this, by the way, personality disorders, it's really an interesting bit because you'll find that we each have a personality. We each have a personality, but then you find that there are people whose personality is so discordant that it cannot be called normal. For instance, you've seen serial killers, the likes of Masten Wanjala, the likes of Onyancha, and all these others that are coming up. Those, we call them, they have some narcissistic kind of personality disorder. They cannot really deal with people. They cannot even deal with themselves. They do not have even the ability to have empathy. So when they kill, they just kill because they derive pleasure from it and whatnot. And that's, yes. Another common form of mental illness is trauma. Trauma is something that is some kind of after effect of having gone through some event that, for instance, an accident. Or having seen something. We've all experienced some form of trauma in our lives. Yeah. Because we understand that this world is it's just life. So death, a disease, it often brings back those bad memories and they stick with us. And if we sometimes don't talk about them or seek help, they may have a negative consequence. And that's just to mention a few. The whole the whole scope of mental illness is so broad that we are still discovering certain aspects of it.
Yes, that's true.
Yes.
That's true.
Yes.
Wow. I know guys listening and watching, I mean, maybe like, hey, that's just too much information to like, you've spoken like in 3-5 minutes and it's just too much to process. Let me just try and go take you back a bit. Like you said when you went through the episode of depression, and because yours seems to be tied on academia, and that time you were really facing like too much. Is stuff like depression, do you think it's voluntary or it's something which maybe is beyond our control? And then the second question that you can probably tie with that is, how did you come out of it? Did you do it on your own, or was there a support group or people or someone pulling you through? How did you navigate through those dark waters?
All right. First, to the first question, depression really, there are two things that actually signify behavior or define behavior. As scientists, we've come to the conclusion that behavior is governed by two things: nature, which is the environment, and then nurture, which is now the inherent things that are inside us, like personality, that then define our behavior. Now, when you look at depression is under a class of disorders called mood disorders. And taking my example, for instance, despite you see, nature, the environment kind of defined how I behaved, how I became depressed, because the environment was a bit hostile. Despite my hard work, my focus, my all these things, vision, I used to often fail. Yes, and now then inherently inside me, there was the nurture part, the thing that was inborn in me. You see, you do something repeatedly until at some point you kind of ask yourself, am I really doing the right thing?
You're right.
And during those times when you're now questioning yourself, that's when your mood becomes low. You start now losing focus, because now you are already questioning even your own abilities.
True.
You're even questioning even the whole aspect of, why am I even doing all this? And so now to the next part of the question, what really happened was, at the time, luckily for me, I think somehow fate was trying to talk to me into something. So at the time, as I was focusing on that law exam, it then turned out that somebody advised me, a friend of mine advised me and told me that the only way to gain focus is lose focus.
Wow.
I know, it sounds crazy.
The only way to gain focus is to lose focus. It's like kupotea njia ndio kupata njia. That's basically what he was trying to tell me. Now his idea was, the only way to try and now get perspective is to try and deviate slightly from what I was doing and help my mind first relax. Because I was so focused on one thing, nothing else really occurred to me around me. In fact, even if I was losing an angle, I could really not see. So the next thing I did is I applied for this course, the master's course, and ironically, I studied both at the same time. Wow, law and counseling.
Now here's the interesting bit. And now counseling psychology. And remember, these are two different and distinct disciplines.
Totally.
Yeah. Ironically, that is when now it hit me good, because I actually did all the exams in 1 week. I did the law exam on Monday. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, I was doing the psychology one. And trust me, I still passed everything. In fact, that semester I was really good. I would want, maybe in another time I can even share some of those results, just to give somebody hope.
Yes.
Because I know how it feels. And ironically, when I look back, that's when I say, this guy probably had something going, because you have to get some kind of break. Look at things, take a break. Look at things a bit objectively. Calm down, lose back, then you take a step back. then look at things a bit objectively, and then now your mind now opens, and then you will see the angle you're missing, and you will avoid a lot of these problems.
Yeah.
Yes. So that's how I overcome the first bout of mild depression that I had at the time. Yes.
Wow. Because I know, as I said at the beginning of our podcast today, we can't really expound the entire topic of mental health and get to finish. I mean, this thing you can talk about this in 4 weeks. But I feel as we probably wrap part 1 today, what is the one thing? What is the one thing you can advise somebody out there who probably, because I realize with mental health, you don't even realize your mental health is being attacked. It's like a silent. That's why they say depression is like a silent killer. You don't really realize how deep you're going. So at which point does somebody reach and say, hey, I need help? Instead of like, I think I can handle this, until one day you can't wake up in the morning. Until one day, as you said, you don't want to go to work. Your performance level, wherever you are in life.
Very importantly.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you for that question. The thing about mental health is that it is a gradual thing. It occurs in a continuum. Just like we are moving on in life, just like you wake up in the morning and you're grown and a day older than yourself, that's the same thing. And so what often we tend to do is miss the signs of a deteriorating mental health condition. Some of the common signs that occur whenever you are experiencing some form of mental health issue, it would include a change in mood. So basically, for instance, if you are this person who normally smiles, you are very happy, some of these moods, like you are a bit active and stuff, you often find that a person becomes withdrawn. They start looking at things from a negative perspective. So for instance, if they had aspirations, they are often like, it's not really possible. Others include behavioral changes, so that would include seclusion. Often you'll find a person, they will seclude themselves. They will start, avoiding people and just staying away from so many activities, social gatherings, whatnot. Other things would include a change of, basic things, including hygiene. Hygiene, as basic as hygiene, cleaning yourself. This is often common in people who are experiencing depression. So you'll find that they have less interest in hygiene. They are often just keeping to themselves. They really don't matter. They really don't see anything that matters. Others include substance abuse disorders. They would often, you find somebody who is probably abusing bang and whatnot. You would see a significant change even in their own health. They will often not even eat right. So you will see a decline in physical strength. Then there will be other diseases that will come with mental health degradation. So for instance, if you are a dependent in alcohol, you will also see a risk in behavior, which can then lead to things like HIV because, of the impaired judgment. For those who use hard substances such as heroin, whatnot, they will really not even care about, the injection. They will do anything for cash. So you'll see an increase in risk behavior, including theft, robbery, which can result in death.
Yeah.
So there's just a host of things that actually happen. And one of the common things that one needs to do to actually note the signs is to always have this ability to talk about your feelings. And so I always advise people, whenever you, for instance, if you are a person who really keeps to themselves, like, those reclusive people, we call them introverts mostly.
Yes.
if you are introverted in nature, I always suggest something to do with, writing things down.
Yes.
You could probably have a diary,
a journal. Yes.
a journal, or for instance, if it's your phone, keep some record of, yourself.
Yes.
That way you are able to know when things are now starting to go wrong. Another thing that often we are always advised, and yet we tend to take it for granted, especially in this kind of environment where there is so many facilities and so much knowledge, is keeping active. Keeping active would be as basic as walking. You don't necessarily have to go to a gym. Keep active. Engage your mind. Read things, positive things. Read newspapers. Walk around. And just ensure that your body and your mind are in shape. Often I even say you can even discuss on something that is engaging, intellectually engaging. Intellectual engagement would be on topics such as even food, depending on whatever thing you're passionate about, but also physical engagement. Then third, eat well. Try and eat as much as possible a balanced diet. It does not need to be expensive for it to be balanced. Githeri is a balanced diet. Ikiwa kwanza na nyanya, vitunguu na some waru somewhere there, it's really balanced. Keep in touch. Keep in touch with people. Often it's said that social media has tried to bring things closer, and it's true. But try as much as possible as a person.
Physical.
Give somebody a call. Go see someone. Sometimes you don't know how much that means until you actually do it, and then you see the impact. For those of us who drink, I would suggest that you drink responsibly. Now, drinking responsibly means you ensure that as much as you're drinking, you are also mindful of your health, and also ensure you've eaten right, so that you're not just drinking for the sake that there is still alcohol there. Drink responsibly. Also, take a break once in a while. There is you at no point in time will you ever finish work. In fact, there's always this saying that we'll still leave work. There's always this saying often in companies where you find that that even after you're gone, work still continues.
Work still continues.
So you still need to take care of yourself, because the company will not even be of any value if you are not of value. Once you lose value, you are let go of, and you are dispensed with, and another person takes your place. So take care of yourself. You are your own responsibility. And it's often said that as part of your self-responsibility, whenever you have a problem, ask for help. Now, help is often misguided and often misinterpreted. Help can be gotten from various sources, the most common of which most people don't know is counseling. There are counselors all over Kenya, some of whom even are free through the Kenya Red Cross. There's even a helpline that was actually given during that time of COVID. I believe that it's still there. Call. Talk to these professionals. Some of their rates are very pocket friendly. If you think about ile pesa ya sherehe na pesa ya mental health, in fact hata pesa ya sherehe ni mingi. You'll find that a counselor in Nairobi, his hourly rate would go even at even as low as 1,500 to 2,000 shillings. Literally, it's something that even if you had a good health plan, it can cover, can cover the entire process. So asking for help is always a good option. Then finally, in the essence of ensuring that we are conversant with mental health, there is always that aspect that we need to know about ourselves. And the one thing that is common is knowing what you like. For instance, it could be watching football. Now do it as often as possible. Sometimes I see some of those video halls are as cheap as 50 shillings. Go watch that football match. Don't be rowdy. You don't necessarily have to shout that Manchester United has won. Mtaitwa Kiburi FC,
Yes.
and then utapatana na mtu, maybe mtaanza kupigana.
Yes,
You don't necessarily have to be extravagant about it. Just go watch your match, whether you won or lost.
Yes.
That's okay. It's the team. It's not you.
Yes.
At the end of the day, wewe maisha yako inaendelea, manager anapata mshahara yake, you don't have to lose even sleep over that. It's fun. You enjoy it, so why shouldn't you? If it's riding a bicycle, if it's hiking, just do it responsibly, but do something you like. Often that helps reduce stress levels. It often helps to improve mood and whatnot. Yes.
Wow. Hey, I don't know. I mean, I know definitely there's guys who are watching and listening, and as I've said, it's so much to digest in one sitting.
Yeah.
I know you're really doing your best to, kind of. So I don't know if there's especially the helplines. You've said like the toll-free helplines, which guys, I think we can post some in the description in this video, so that guys can be able to reach out and also reach out. I don't know if you are offering any form of counseling or help or talks, because we will also put your contacts on the screen on how guys can be able to reach out to you. So I think we can pick up from here in our second episode. But for today, I feel like you have done your best to really show us the effects and briefly how to get out of it. That it is possible to have, your health, your mental health, being stable or healthy. And it is very much possible to get out of it, especially depression, if you reach out for help early, on time, and then try and discover your passions and dreams. Actually, history has proved that most of the greatest inventions or startups actually begin after people are in the lowest seasons of their lives. That's when you realize they discover something, they start something. Somebody loses their loved ones, and it just starts, and they start a foundation, they start a project, they start a show. So I feel like, for myself, the biggest takeaway is that last point, that you have to discover what your passion is, what you like doing, because the more you do that, your energies shift from what you're going through, from the depression to something else. Wow, Mr. Francis, I think personally I'm eternally grateful. Our viewers who are watching and listening, please drop a comment or like something that you'll want Mr. Francis to discuss in our second episode, which will come up next week. Anything whatsoever. Maybe any parting shots, Mr. Francis, before I sign off?
All right. To the last question, the question that you asked about if I'm doing something about mental health. Yes, it started sometime during COVID.
Yes.
COVID, that was last year around March. I used to have this engagement on various platforms, WhatsApp, Facebook, Twitter, and I would also want to keep doing them even as much as possible, despite the rigors of life. So I will of course be offering my contacts for somebody who has a problem. You can reach me on WhatsApp, you can do me a text. If I'm in a position to take a call, I will take a call. We can even schedule a meeting, a face-to-face meeting. We just sit down, we talk. I can even recommend counselors, persons who are even more competent than I am, to actually help you go through step-by-step process to actually get to that level where one says they are in a good place, stable-wise. So what I would encourage is that openness, and one should not feel that they are stigmatized in any way, because there is no shame in not being. That's the real thing. You should not be ashamed of not being okay. Just like you go to a doctor and you open up to them and tell them of the problems that you're facing, the same thing goes with mental health. You need to be open, you need to be ready to be helped, and you need to be able to move on and to get through the process. Yes.
Wow, thank you so much, Mr. Francis, again. We're looking forward to episode 2. And on behalf of the viewers and the team at Talanta Productions, thank you so much. Viewers, we're going to put his contacts. You're on IG, I believe, social media somewhere, right? You're on social media.
Yeah. Social media, Facebook, Twitter.
Yeah. So we'll put his handles down here in the description box, so you can be able to connect and chat with him some more. So again, I say thank you so much. Looking forward to the next episode.